Good morning, Paul. How you doing?
I am very well. I'm very well. Today is my 60th birthday.
Many happy returns, Paul. Many happy returns.
Thank you.
How are you feeling reaching such a landmark?
Well, do you know what? It's a strange one. I'm folding my arms now. I get defensive. It's a strange one because I've never been happier, never been more fulfilled.
Well,
But I think today, if I'm being honest, I don't think I want to be 60. But then I kind of, well, you haven't got much choice, have you?
no.
I think I'm going to be fine with it, and I think. Uh, People rightly think that your 60th or your 60s is your best decade, but I haven't quite got my head around that. So we'll see. We'll see.
I think 60 is different to what it used to be, isn't it? I
I'm
think
sure.
life's changed. I think life begins at 60. I think we said this before, didn't we, Paul? I think you're in for a great decade.
Yeah, well, thank you. I think it's just the last decade has been so fabulous. I'm
Yeah.
sort of thinking, how do I top that? But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's exciting times. I just need a day or two to adjust, I think.
Yeah. Have you got many presents?
Currently, I have one present, which is very kind. A good friend has given me a couple of passes to Wimbledon because I'd never been, and of course, big topic of conversation in recent podcasts from the Marketing Shed.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go and experience a day in Wimbledon in July.
Lovely. That's a fantastic, isn't it? Yeah. What a way to celebrate that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's all very good. All very good. So
Yeah.
birthdays aside, or my
Yeah.
birthday aside, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been away. So I went to Norfolk with the family over the weekend. So that was lovely.
Kind of say it looks like you're still away. Your shirt is very summery and refreshing.
Do you know what? Because the weather's been bad this week after we had such a lovely week last week. I thought I'd keep the vibe going and wear a nice shirt. So, yeah. So I came back quite relaxed and we had good weather and just lovely. Do you know what? I don't think this country does a good enough job in selling staycations. I think they're brilliant. I think we've got lovely beaches around that part of the world, particularly got lovely beaches, sort of around the Yarmouth and along there. And yeah, it was just, the kids loved it. They actually love those ones more than they do going abroad in a way. So I think, yeah, it was really good. We haven't been away anywhere for a while. So it was just good to get out and see something different, have a different energy, different vibe for a bit. It's good. We've come back
This is a very good point, Warren, because I'm guessing it took you, what, 2 or 3 hours to get to your destination? And you were there, weren't you? No airport. I mean, 2 hours you wouldn't even be at the airport normally.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like the kids were really good in the car. I mean, now you've got, and maybe this is a judgment of my parenting, but you've got pads, iPads and things that kids can watch on the way. Why not?
Why not? They can watch educational things. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, something called BBC that was very educational.
Yes, of course.
But do you know what? I don't know if people that is a good point, sell that enough in their marketing about why staycations are good. You don't have to go through all that. Just throw stuff in the car and then you're there and you've got GPS on your phone now, so it's easy to find it. You don't have to get the A to Z out like you used to. So it was just really, really straightforward, really good. I mean, it does rely on the weather.
Yeah.
That's one thing you can't change, right? No, you can't sell that. But we were lucky and got it, and it was great. Yeah, just good around.
Fantastic. I love that. I'm inspired by that. I agree with you. I think staycations should be the big thing. Yeah. I mean, there were obviously post-COVID or during COVID, but I think that is the way forward.
Yeah, I do. I think so too. I'm going to be pushing the staycation from now on. I'm saying that I am going to wait in a few weeks' time, but
staycation maybe from May to September. It might change the rules after that period.
You need to go further afield after that.
Yeah. Yes.
But what have you been seeing this week, Paul, in the marketing world?
Well, I will come on to that because I have got something I want to talk about. Because we haven't spoken properly for a couple of weeks, and of course we haven't spoken since I was at Anticon.
Yes,
brilliant conference with the brilliant Carlos and the crew. That was a fabulous event. But also I was at the Econsultancy Capability Leaders Forum just a few days before, if I remember correctly. And that was a very good session. They're always good. Paul Davis puts on a brilliant show. And I do have a talking point from that because at the Capability Leaders Forum, there was a lot of talk about artificial intelligence, but not only that, there was the usual talk about designing learning interventions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Courses, training pathways, learning programs, series of workshops. But I think that the team are perhaps not quite up to speed. I mean, easy for me to say, and I'm happy to be shot down, in that I'm increasingly thinking that capability building is less about designing interventions. Here's a learner, here's some training, or here's some learning and development. We're going to, attach the two together.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's how it's going to work. And I don't mean in 3 years' time. I mean now, because the technology is there now, and people are learning moment by moment using artificial intelligence. They're learning in the flow of work. They're not consulting learning management systems or intranets or playbooks. They're just going in and asking, how do I solve this particular challenge? And therefore, I think the challenge or the opportunity for capability leaders is to do less intervention work and more building the ability of people to learn themselves. Because it is a skill. There is a good way of learning, a good mindset that needs to be built. And you do need to provide tools and information in certain formats and so on to leverage that. So I don't have all the answers, but I think there is a sea change coming in the role of capability builders in organizations that I just sense from that group that they haven't quite locked onto that yet. And I think it would be advantageous to do so.
Interesting. And have you seen that pattern already then, Paul, in the work you do? So people, we've talked about this before, haven't we? But people doing the learning themselves at a time when they, finding the way to learn for themselves, essentially. Do you see that in the work you do?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I see it in the work I do personally. I see it in the work that people do around me. Funnily enough, I was chatting to somebody just a couple of days ago, and they were talking about, AI is going to come, we're going to get a tool. And I said, well, do you use it at the moment? And they said, oh, yeah, actually I do, and it's pretty good. Because they're not counting the work they're doing, for example, building an agent in Copilot to analyze lots of disparate data to produce a report. They're not regarding that as learning, but it is. And I just sense there's this potential gap emerging between capability leaders who are developing interventions and the learners who, meanwhile, are just cracking on and getting on with it and learning through a variety of means, learning by doing, experimentation, et cetera, and I think the two need to come together quite quickly, or else the capability leaders will be left a bit stranded.
Good point you raised. People don't realise they're actually doing the learning by doing the experimenting and testing, and so actually there's a gap. Like you said, there is a gap there, isn't there? And when people suddenly realise that they are, actually the intervention becomes not needed, doesn't it? So actually we know more than we think we know, in a way.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think learners could quite quickly get ahead of the game, and therefore I think there is a bit of a need for a hurry up amongst capability leaders to anticipate, well, not necessarily to anticipate what's happening, but to recognize what's happening, and then to consider a wholesale change to the way that they operate. Of course, I'm painting a bit of a black and white picture to make the point, but I do think there's more than gentle change in the air. There's transformation happening.
I think we could talk about this more, couldn't we, in the future?
Would you like to? Let's have an hour. But no, we could and we should and we will. But we'll come on to that. Anyway, what have you seen? Because I've been rattling on. What have you seen apart from beaches?
Did you see the... We'll talk about AI again. We haven't talked about it for a while. Did you see the new Google announcement about the new glasses a couple of weeks?
No, tell me.
So, years ago they launched some and then they axed them pretty quick, didn't they?
Yeah.
About 10, 12 years ago, I think. They're bringing them back, but in a slightly different format. I think now they're just an ear. You've got a microphone and earpiece. Sorry, you've got an earpiece where you can talk to AI, essentially, and ask it questions. And obviously it's got a camera in the glasses. Whereas before, I think it had a screen and you'd see things pop up on the screen. I think they are going to do a bit of that, but essentially it is just talking to AI. And I've also been reading about websites and the need for them. And obviously we've got GEO now. Essentially, are people visiting websites at the moment, Paul? Do you visit websites like you used to, or are you using AI? And with the advancement of these glasses, and if they do start to kind of crack and break through in the market, so they haven't quite yet, although Meta have sold X million amount of glasses with Ray-Ban, they do start to crack through, then are we just, the need for typing and searching websites is going to be gone. You're just going to be talking to AI constantly and asking it, what's the best thing? What is the best holiday I can go on in the UK to carry on the theme? And it will give you a recommendation and you'll say, okay, I'll go on that holiday. Give me more information about that, type it in, and off you go. Whereas before, in the old world, we would be searching on websites on, TripAdvisor, that kind of thing. You might do a bit of that still, obviously. I'm just thinking that it feels like maybe we're on the precipice of, and maybe I'm behind the curve on this and other people are seeing this already, but it just feels like we're on the precipice of, are we going to need websites in the way we used to need them? And obviously it's about showing up and making sure that you're the right choice. So when AI is doing this searching across the net, you're coming up, but maybe we don't use websites in the way we used to. I wonder what you thought.
I agree. And I'm going to buy a pair of those Google glasses when they come out.
Yeah.
You've got to take advantage of the fact that, I need glasses. I wear them all the time. So let's make a positive, and I'm going to get a pair of Google glasses. That's a commitment.
Yeah.
And I think you make a very interesting point, maybe, because you remember there was talk about Web 2.0. Well, in fact, we didn't really notice. I wonder if Web 2.0 isn't exactly what you describe. It's moving it away from internet browsing and into generative AI.
Yeah, really? In terms of, so when you talk about generative AI, you mean what I just described? So you're asking.
Exactly. Yeah. I think you've got a cracking thought there.
Yeah, I just think it changes the game a bit when and perhaps a lot of us are in the old world and way of thinking in that, when you're devising your strategies, you need to have X on your website, you need to have it looking like X, but actually we need to be thinking about how it shows up in these searches, right? In the AI searches. And when you've got the advancement of things like these glasses, you've got Meta doing it, you've got Google, Apple are about to do it. I think people are going to be walking and talking all the time, asking questions if they suddenly become, if they suddenly start, you get a few early adopters and you start cracking through and everyone's doing this, then that changes things quite quickly. And, I think we're moving that way anyway, but it could really speed up.
I think you're right. I think there's the old tipping point thing. And also, I think, you see, typically as marketers, we would probably say, let's try and get a foot in both camps. Let's carry on doing our investment around web, but also let's do our work around artificial intelligence and all the things that go with that. And then you look at people like SoftBank, they've just made a big bet on data centers. That's where, they're investing big time. Maybe sometimes as marketers, we need to make the case for those big bets. Maybe you accept that your website is just going to be fairly static in terms of further development, and you're going to focus the money you might have spent on developing website traffic to develop AI search and AI surfacing of the site and everything not the site, but the business and everything that goes with it.
Yeah. No, that's just my thought. That's my thought for the day. That's what I've been seeing, and it's playing into a lot of my thoughts at the moment. What about you?
Well, I want to talk about the thing that everybody's talked about, and we're a week behind, but doesn't matter, which is Ferrari. And Ferrari have launched their first fully electric car, the Luce, and it has been pretty universally derided by the internet, by motoring journalists, by well-known people, by marketers as well. And they've derided it for not looking like a Ferrari and for being ugly. And I think they are wrong. And I think they're wrong for two reasons. The first reason is I don't think they've done their research properly, because I've been to the Ferrari website and I've played around with their 3D models and color combinations. And Ferrari, for reasons I don't know, they chose to present the car in a sort of vivid blue color, and people are like, it doesn't look like a Ferrari and the shapes are all wrong. Actually, if you go on the website and you go on the configurator and you make it Ferrari red with Ferrari wheels, it looks pretty much like a Ferrari. It's got many of the design cues of a classic Ferrari, particularly if you rotate it, look at it from different angles. So I don't think the commentators have done their research is point number one.
Interesting. And my question is, why did they choose to show the picture of the blue one that looks less like a Ferrari, when what you're saying is it sounds like they could have chosen the one that looks more like a Ferrari? So my question is, was it deliberate because they knew it might cause a bit of furore, or maybe I'm overthinking that?
I don't think you are. I think it was deliberate and good for them, because this brings me neatly on to point number two, which is that there's a long line in history of things that at the time provoked all sorts of outraged reactions, but have proven to be absolute design classics and ahead of their time. It's staying in the car world. Citroën DS, viewers may not know, but it's that sort of swoopy, weird-looking Citroën car with the closed-in rear wheels, an absolute mold breaker in terms of design, but now seen as being one of the most important, significant cars of the 20th century. Sydney Opera House, which is a global icon, and when it was first built was derided as being, just a terrible design, and I don't know, described as being a sort of prefabricated monster or something. But now is clearly established as a brilliant design classic. And then you can go to Apple, go to the original iMac. Remember that cube, blue translucent plastic. Everything was contained in that one box that you just plopped on your desk with a keyboard, and off it went. And at the time, it was said to be toy-like, and just not a proper computer. But that, of course, is now a classic and has spawned a whole generation of products and changed people's opinion of what computers should look like to deal with. So for those reasons, I think the commentators are entitled to their opinion, but they're wrong. And I think the Ferrari Luce will become a design classic and will also mark a considerable change in the direction or the trajectory for Ferrari as they move into the electronic vehicle age.
I love that, Paul. I love that. That goes against the grain of what everyone else is saying. So I've been reading the comments on LinkedIn around it from various commentators, and it's fascinating. There's a split opinion, I think, as well. Actually, there's more of a split opinion than you realise. Some people are more in your camp, but I think the initial reaction was, this is crazy. This doesn't look like a Ferrari, right?
Well, the share price went down by 8% the day it was launched, but that shows you how much the stock market knows about design and about good marketing. That share price will bounce back, and I'm not a betting man, but I'm pretty confident that Ferrari's share price will be considerably higher than it was before the Luce in a year's time.
Well, Jaguar, I know this hasn't been proven yet, and maybe you've got an opinion on the new Jag not being great, but I've not really got an opinion, but a lot of people were outraged by the ad before it actually even came out, the car, weren't they, around the totally different styling to what it used to look like before. But actually, I saw Robbie Sutherland drive it on a podcast and was very positive about it. And so actually, you give these things a bit of time, the initial reaction over a couple of years can just seem, like a flash in the pan, storming a teacup. And actually, these cars go on to a huge success, right? So
absolutely
interesting. Watch the space. We'll see if that's the same for Ferrari.
Yeah, watch this space. Fingers crossed. So what is happening the week ahead, Warren? What exciting stuff?
Well, we're seeing each other, Paul, aren't we? For your birthday celebration. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's going to be good tomorrow, this week. So very much looking forward to that. And then there's not a lot else going on. Lots of birthdays this weekend, Paul, actually, to fit with yours. So celebrating those, and then some big projects of work going on. I'm interested to hear more about your week because it's your 60th birthday.
Yes, I'm becoming 60th plus in the week ahead. What I'm doing something really, really, really interesting and quite challenging at the moment. I'm helping a comms team essentially rewire or refresh their operating model to factor in generative AI. And it's as big and as broad as that. And the challenge that team faces is how do you take a team of, I can't remember exactly, but maybe 60, 70 people plus lots of other people in local teams who are linked to the global team, and how do you reshape that team so it can increase impact through the use of artificial intelligence? and it's asking all sorts of questions, transformational change on steroids, because the implications are so big. And so it's a fascinating piece of work. So I'll be working on that next week, and it will be done by the week. No, it won't. It will take some time, but it's going to be one of the big things I'll be focused on for the next 7 days.
I've come full circle there, haven't we? Generative AI. That sounds fascinating. I'm interested to hear more about that as you go, because I think that's something a lot more businesses should be focusing on. So yeah, it sounds good. The other thing I should mention as well is we're prepping we're going on tour, Paul, aren't we? We're speaking at an event
going on tour
on July 2nd.
Yeah, we're going to a conference, aren't we? And let's get the right name for it. So what's the right name for it, Warren?
So we're going to be speaking at the PLAI Marketing Summit on 2nd of July at the Bankside Hotel in London. And we're going to be talking about price and the role that brand plays and how you add value to your product, business via other factors. So we're really excited to do that, aren't we? And I think the prep starts now, doesn't it?
Very excited. And how do people get tickets?
How do people get tickets? That is a good question, Paul. Well, I think you can go on to if you search PLAI London Marketing Summit, you'll be able to find the website and get tickets that way.
It's going to be great. And we look forward to seeing everybody there.
Brilliant. Well, have a fantastic birthday week, Paul. And yeah, I'll see you this week for celebrations, and we can talk about that on the next podcast.
Happy days. Take care.
Cheers, Paul.